Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and we're here with another update for Transport Inc. Since the last episode there have been a couple more updates to the game, generally minor sort of bug fixes and sort of UI improvements just to make things a little bit easier and friendlier for the players. But they've also, in the latest update, version 1.0.9, which is what we're playing here today, they've reintroduced the global race. No, they didn't do that. They did that in the previous-ish update. They reintroduced the global race. What they have done is they've fixed the problems with the Mac, and in the 1.0.9 version, they've improved the global race again, and a few other sort of interface fixes as well to make life a little bit easier. But the big news is they slowed down a little bit on the sort of minor updates that they've been doing since release, because they're working on a major new update coming sometime soonish, according to their update on the Steam page, and they're adding features to the game and addressing performance issues. And they're looking particularly at improving the late game experience and making the company much more manageable. So they're looking at actually sort of tightening up and improving the sort of the tycoon economic kind of features of the game, making that whole aspect of it, the tycoonery, that much better. But we've got a little bit to wait for that. I hear from their Discord that it's going into a sort of closed beta testing quite soon. So hopefully, all being well, that will come out into the public branch so all of us can play it within not too long at all. But anyway, let's get on and play what we've got so far. You've just seen me wrap up again the last chapter, which we did in the last episode. So let's move on to the next chapter in this story. Which again, you may remember you saw this popping up at the end of the last episode. We're back in the UK, and our mentor, our sort of person we're sort of being, whoever he is, he wants to get his mind off his troubles with his father, so he decided to pay a visit to an older cargo acquaintance in the UK. Yay! I spoke to him about my situation and telling him about the illegal cargo. Unlike my father, he understood my vision, supportive, and wanted to get involved to help me. My casual trip quickly changed into a major business trip. So after looking over some of the financial documents, he made me get a loan for more vehicles. If we were going to do this together, we had to be more aggressive. That's not really me, though. But anyway, by the by, we're pretending to be me for the time being. With a new partner, the business was back quickly to full speed. So as we saw, this is what we're going to be playing with now. We've got a new option. We can get a loan from a bank. We've got more train options. That's nice. And we also have new events coming in. Heavy rainfall, which could cause massive flash floods. Landslides, bridge outages, travel conditions will be affected, obviously, really. So yeah, more disasters for our team, our fleet of vehicles to manage, to get around. And Christmas, winter holidays, whatever you want to call them. The winter holiday season is here. Passengers will be travelling to visit loved ones, shop for last minute gifts, yeah, that sounds a bit like me, and view the festive lights. So yeah, more opportunities to make money. So let's see how we get on. Here in the UK, Chapter 7, new team, same dream. So, cheating a little bit, I've already set up my first couple of routes and my first few vehicles to get the game underway. And there's some news on the multi-city route issues that I was vexed over, confused by in the previous videos. Had a sort of conversation with the developers over on the Discord server, and I've worked out what the problem was. The problem was that I was treating Transport Inc. just like those other transport and railway type games that I've used to playing in the past. This one's a bit different. In particular, if you look at, say, London and Norwich here, we've got 30 people who want to go to London from Norwich, and likewise, now those vehicles are in the way, get rid of them. There's the same number going back. So the demand numbers are the same at either end. And that simple sort of logic of equal demand at either end of a route sort of feeds into the underlying way in which they've designed their routing system. So when I was talking about, for example, I think I've got in this map already, a three-city route between Norwich, London and Birmingham. Now, the way the game sets it up, which I didn't appreciate in those earlier videos, is different to the way Transport Fever and the like will do it. What we do here, if we go into our route, is you just need to set up all the cities in the route, the route it will take. So we're going from Norwich to London to Birmingham. That's all you need to do, because the AI will automatically reverse the route to go back. So it'll automatically go back from Birmingham to London to Norwich and then all the way back around again. So there's no need to do what I was trying to do, which was say, oh, from Birmingham go back to London and then back into Norwich, because that's not how it works. So just bearing that in mind, you don't need to think that you need to complete the whole loop yourself. The game will do that for you. Now, whether that makes complete sense, I'm not entirely sure. It might make sort of more complex routes. Say if I wanted to go from Norwich to London to Birmingham and then straight back to Norwich, that makes life a little bit more interesting, because it would then go back the same sort of... How would it go back? I'm not quite sure. We could try that out. Maybe I will one day. The other thing that confused me was that on some routes like that, if there was no demand at London to go on to Birmingham, and sorry, if there was no demand from Norwich in London, and the buses would go from Norwich to London to Birmingham, you would see them actually making money in London. And what the developers explained to me was there was a sort of issue of confusion over numbers in the earlier alpha builds of the game from the first feedback they got, because people weren't quite getting the idea, apparently, that you get charged on a regular basis as vehicles travel around the map, but you only get paid at the end of the journey, which to me is kind of logical, because that's how it works in all the other games I've played. The passengers or the cargo only pay when they arrive. What was happening here, and still happening, I mean, it's still the way the game works, they've not made any changes to that, is that the passengers will pay a proportion of the total price of their journey at each stop en route. So, for example, if we had people going from Norwich to Birmingham, but nobody sort of getting off in London, the people going from Norwich to Birmingham would pay a portion of that fare in London and the remainder in Birmingham. So at the end of the day, they would, bar $1 or $2 in the tests I've done, they would still pay the same fare as if they went straight from Norwich to Birmingham. Well, actually, that's interesting. I wonder if they would pay that, the same fare, if they took the shorter route or not. Unfortunately, there is demand here, as you can see, between all three cities, so this isn't quite the same test. But that's what's going on. It's not an exploit, as I was thinking it was before I got in touch with the guys who created the game. It is simply that passengers and cargo pay pro rata at each stop on the route, so you don't make any more money by doing that. Anyway, other thing I discovered on this map was if you click a city like, say, London here, and either press the information panel down here or press the letter I on your keypad, the default hotkey, you get a city information panel come up. I've been playing this game for, I don't know, must be a year now or whatever, on and off, very much on and off, as they've brought out updates to the alpha builds and the early access that we had access to. I don't remember seeing this panel before. It's quite nice. It tells you what cities you have demand in to come to this city. So London, there's a demand with Birmingham, and cargo demand with Belfast, and also economy and cargo in Norwich. So if you've got a very big map, you're across many countries, then this is a very quick way to see, without sort of scrolling around the map and trying to hide all the vehicles, where the demands are. You can see it here in a glance. It's lovely. One slight issue, these icons here, the double yellow person here, the double first class icon here, is a little confusing. I've been in touch with the developers again, and apparently this might be a little bit of a bugette in the game at the moment. I thought it might be to do with the fact that there are that many first class passengers. but obviously you can see that's a much smaller number than economy. So why are the two people there? And likewise, the demand between, I think, Edinburgh and Norwich is actually larger than London and Birmingham, but there is only one yellow person there, one first class icon. So slight issue there, not quite sure. This I think was probably meant to represent the quantity of demand, but that might be a little bugget, so we may well see that adjusted as the game goes forward. Right, so that's all the update from me on things I've learnt since the last episode. So let's move on with the map and see how we get on with adding some new vehicles to it. This is a couple of game months further on into the game. I've got my depot in place now here in Birmingham. All right, there you are in Birmingham. I've already increased it to 3 vehicles. Gosh, and I've got a manager to look after all my vehicles for me. As you can see, yeah, that spanner icon, they're going back to the depot. I guess this guy will soon as well. We're making loads of money. I'm keeping my drivers reasonably happy by the look of it, and not paying them too much, so that's all working quite well, and all my routes are profitable. I've added a few more here. I'm going to need, I could need a depot down here, but the thing is I've only got that one vehicle on that route, I think. Yeah, that's it. So it's a bit expensive putting a depot just down there for that one vehicle on that one route. They can make a detour off to Birmingham if they need fixing. And likewise up here, we've got, yeah, this is getting quite busy up here. So what have we got? We've got this route here, which is Edinburgh to Inverness, and we've just got the one vehicle on there. And this route down here, again just the one vehicle down there, but Newcastle is connected to Hull. So where would I put a depot? Good question. We will see that as we go forward, but everything looks to be working okay. One thing to bear in mind here is, I think, did we see it in London? Yeah, there's demand for cargo between London and Belfast, but there's no way of getting there in this chapter, because the game at this point doesn't have any ship-borne transportation. That was, I think as mentioned in the last episode, part of their Kickstarter stretch goals, which unfortunately they didn't quite achieve. They may well look to adding shipping later, but that's only been sort of one of the ideas tossed around on the Discord server. There's no guarantee of that at all. And there's no promises from the developers because, well, you know, we need to get everything else right first before we start adding funky new features to it. So there's no shipping in here, and at this stage in this chapter 7, you can't buy an airline license either, so you can't get to Belfast, but you could get to France. So if we were to make more money, and our goals are 80,000 economy passengers, 20,000 first class, and 70,000 cargo shipments, we might be able to do that over time here in just the UK, but we may want to go into France and make use of their railways. That sounds like a good idea. I could take out a loan, couldn't I? We shall see. Let's move on a little bit more and see how my game develops. Did you see that big red number? 67,000? Wow, that must be drivers or something. Oh, my train drivers aren't very happy. They haven't gone on strike yet. Famous last words. But do I have a train depot? As you can see, we've put in a couple of train routes. What do we have route-wise? Oh, someone's gone on strike. I'll look at those in a second. Just got 2 train routes, Inverness to Newcastle. That's Inverness at the top there, Newcastle down there. That's quite a nice long route. And also Edinburgh to Birmingham. Again, quite another long route. And they are carrying passengers and cargo. So, yep, hopefully dealing with my objectives down here. Right, who's on strike? It's the train. Famous last words. If I increase that to 439. Oh, go on then. I've only got 2 trains, so the cost for paying off the drivers to get them to carry on working this month isn't too high. Okay, now I've got 300,000 in the bank, but I'm going to need 500 to get into France, so that's a little way off. So can I add any more routes? Where's Birmingham connect to? Let's use this city information panel now that I found it. There is demand to Swansea. Oh, but I already have that running, don't I? Oops, click that. That's it, I've got 2 vehicles on there, so that's fine. Does, what's this place? Hull. Oh no! Oh heck, we've got detour here. Right, we know how to deal with that. So we've got this cargo truck here, which is trying to get between London and Norwich. You're going to have to go the long way around, my friend. Detour there. Again, this is one of those things where if you've got a large fleet across many countries and you start seeing detours and things coming up, we're going to need some extra help dealing with that. Now, again, is this going to be part of the next major update? Are they going to improve our managers so they might auto detour as well as auto maintain? That's an interesting idea I've just come up with. Army train drivers, stop giving me grief, guys. Okay, trains are profitable, and you don't half want your cut of the profit, don't you? Okay, let's see if you can keep you happy for a little bit longer. Someone, I think it was on the Steam forums, was talking of trains being slightly, the capacities of vehicles being slightly odd, that you can have in buses, for example. Buses carrying, where are we? 55 people or whatever, where your basic train will just carry 80 and so on. But you can upgrade the trains. You can add extra wagons to them. This is a cargo train as it happens, but you can do the same thing with passenger trains. So you can increase them by adding extra capacity to them. Can't at this stage in the chapter. Obviously, as the story mode goes, do that detour again. There you are. Stop messing me about. Oh, and you. Yeah, this would be nice, wouldn't it, if we could have someone manage the detouring for us. Yeah, because it's so easy, especially when I'm doing this, just talking and playing. I can't really do both at the same time, as you may have noticed in my other videos. Yeah. Okay, well, we're at 552. So we can apparently afford to go into France, which is just 515,000. Yeah, that's right. Yes, but the question is, do we want to go? Right. Okay, so we're getting some clues here. There is demand from London into these other cities, into Calais. This isn't going to tell us because we don't have licenses to France yet. So, but we can see here in shaded. We've also got some insight. Now again, I don't know if this changes depending on which mode you're working in. I'm playing on normal mode as opposed to easy or hard. So the amount of information you get is one of the things that makes the difference between the difficulty levels. So I might want to go into Brussels as well, into Belgium as well, but that's only 85,000. Okay. But before I do that, no, let's look at creating another train route, I think. So we can go to Liverpool. Let's do a quick check on this. So Newcastle, we've got economy demand to Liverpool. Edinburgh, I think, are we already catering for that? I'm sure we are. Hull, Swansea. Now that's interesting. How much demand we have in Swansea? 73 and 24. Okay, so what trains do we have in the shop? Yeah, unfortunately we don't have a mixed economy and first class train. So what's it? Press the right key. So it's 73 as the demand. Therefore, economy passengers. It's not 80 though, is it? I could probably make money on that though, still. Or I could go cargo all the way down to Plymouth. Couldn't I? How much was that demand again? 147, so I could go for the big train here, which cost me 500,000, but it goes faster, and people like fast. Do you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do... Yeah, so we'll put another train line in here. So from Newcastle to Plymouth. Nice steam locomotive sound. Not entirely appropriate, the fact we've got at least diesel or electric trains here, but hey ho. Right, so if I put you cheap cargo on there. Newcastle upon Tyne to Plymouth. Okay, nice whistle. Right, now let's have a look at you in more detail. What do people like? They don't like any... Ooh, they're happy with the tickets. The speed, they're okay-ish with. The train's filling up quite nicely. But again, we've got a lot of demand between Newcastle and Plymouth. 74, it's not quite full. One of the things they've changed, I can now use the mouse scroll wheel to change the prices, as opposed to typing it in or using the up and down arrows. So that's just a nice little quality of life improvement, I think they call it, isn't it? So let's change that. Let's get that train down there faster. Are you going to fill up capacity to 80? 116,000. You're so profitable. Trains are. I love trains. Okay, no, don't do that. Yeah, randomly clicking around the map can highlight things you don't expect, and then you get those odd prompts. Okay, so I really do need to invest, I think, in a train depot. That's not by going there, but by going here and creating a train depot. There you go. And how are my trains doing? They're okay. I don't need a train. Oh, train drivers again. Let's get you up a little bit more. 5 grand. I mean, my bus drivers, and presumably that includes the truck drivers for the cargo. Yeah, that could be a bit clearer. That could be road. You don't really say road drivers, though, do you? No. Oh well. Okay, so we're back up at 400,000. I'm not going to employ a train manager just yet. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's slow road. So you don't get an option to do a detour on a slow road. Well, not that there is a detour here anyway, to be honest, but no. Okay, so let's get you moving on. How are we doing with our objectives? 14,000 out of 80. 3.5 out of 20. We've got a long way to go yet. Now, of course, one thing I could do here is take out a loan. Now, it's... Oh, we've already got a loan already, so we're paying that... Ah. So we're paying this off already. Are we? Ah. Actually, did I take that out? I might have taken that out myself. Yeah, I've been playing this game in segments, so I've been doing a few things in between each of the stages you've seen. Over a couple of days, in fact, to be honest with you. So I might not have... I've got 5 payments remaining. That's every month, is it? That's okay. But look, I've already... Yeah, the idea here is you take out a loan amount, a number of payments, and the interest rate depends, I think, on the amount of loan you're taking out. Does it? No. The number of weeks? Nope. The interest rate is the same. Now again, it'd be interesting to know if that is dependent upon your current credit rating. I don't know. Where in some games like Sim Airport, for example, it is clearly linked. Your finance tab does also include information on your credit rating, which includes information on how quickly you are paying back any existing loans. So the more quickly you repay what you've been lent, the better your credit rating. Okay, we're getting loads of vehicles going into depot right now, but everything is looking okay. Is this depot coping? Could possibly add another slot to this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Upgrade that for another slot. We can also upgrade the quality, which I think increases the speed at which vehicles are repaired. And that will cost me, it says along the bottom here, if you can just see it, 20 grand. I can afford that. Okay, so my maintenance level is now 20, which I believe improves the speed, not necessarily the quality, but the speed at which your vehicles are repaired. Right, I want to go to France. I do want to go to France, so let's buy this license. 515 grand, that is excellent. So, can I buy a train to take people or things from London to Calais? Actually, where else does Calais? Oh, Plymouth. Ah, you see, oh, we're getting, yeah, these double icons. Brest, Le Mans. Actually, Brest, that makes sense. There's 87 first-class passengers there. Where's Le Mans, which is 20. So it looks like it could be tied to the quantity of demand, but it's not entirely clear. And there appears to be some discrepancies in the numbers. Okay, so from London. I want to start from London. Although, if I start in Newcastle, because that's where my depot is, is there no demand from Newcastle in France? No. Oh, that's a bit rude, isn't it? It's only 50 grand though for a depot for trains, isn't it? So it's not too expensive. Okay, let's think on doing that. So if we do Paris. Paris wants to go to Calais as well, though London doesn't. Though London will go to Le Mans. So having a depot in Paris could make sense. There's a fair mix of demands there, which trains should be able to cater for. Okay, so we're going to create another cargo train. How much is a cargo train before I start creating things? Yeah, we can get for 200 grand. Yeah, we can do that. So let's create this rail route from London to Calais, and we'll slip a cargo train on there. And do people like it? They like it a lot. Yes, so that one should be nice. Although it's quite short, it should be quite profitable. Watch the numbers count down. Oh, they're slow when you're waiting for them, aren't they? 3,000. Is that all? Can I increase my ticket price? Let's make it 40. See if I can earn some real money. I mean, 3 grand is nice. I mean, it's a profit, and you can't argue with profit. But I'd like to have more, I think. How's that going? No, they don't like the price anymore. They really don't like that price. So, okay, we'll take it back down to 38. Well, it's still not quite full. Okay, 37 then. And the numbers here. Let's focus in on Calais. It's a very important place, especially if you're British. We have a very special relationship with Calais. Okay, how many trains doing? Let's have a look at that. Vehicles, trains. Yeah, you're getting a bit close to needing maintenance. Oh, I have got the depot there open, haven't I? I just don't have a manager yet. Shall I employ one? Because I really don't like micromanaging even half a dozen trains. So let's get a manager on the job. And we'll add all, and we'll auto add any new trains. Good. And I'm making lots of money anyway, so we're not going to worry too much about that. Splendid. Right, let me roll on for a bit, and I'll come back to you when we're a bit further along in this particular scenario. Right, so as you can see, we have moved on a little bit. A year or so on since the last little segment. But to be honest, I haven't actually been keeping track. We've established a good foundation of profitable routes here in the UK, which has meant that after a little bit, I was able to expand, as you can see here, into France and set up some hopefully quite juicy routes. Though, as you can see, they don't all sort of provide full capacity for the vehicles. And these train drivers, of which there are quite a few now. How many do we have, in fact? Oh, it's actually quite a lot. I hadn't realised I'd bought that many trains. Someone has been spending an awful lot of money. Yeah, so $5.5 grand monthly salary. Actually, that's probably quite reasonable, isn't it? Actually, it's quite the monthly. No, that is probably quite a lot. Actually, I don't actually know how much train drivers get paid. I mean, it is a very responsible position, obviously, because you are transporting. It is you're responsible for a large number of actual people, passengers, and freight and cargo. Okay, so where are we? We're probably about 2/3 of the way through to our objectives, and I'm keeping an eye on the competition. They are shown up here in the top right, so you can see how many economy, how many first, how many cargo units I have transported. So I'm pretty much ahead, I think, in all those categories, apart from, apparently Transitalia have transported more first class passengers. And also keeping track of this, which is the total number. It's all those numbers added up, basically, I think. And I'm nicely ahead, which should be fine. But the thing is, I don't often do campaigns and scenarios, because if you've watched my other Let's Plays and so on, you know I'm a fairly sort of slow and steady player. I like to sort of grow slowly and gently and not rush forward with great dramatic sweeps of money or stuff happening in the map. Whereas these scenarios, as we saw before in one of the earlier episodes, you do need to keep an eye on the opposition, because they will suddenly take off and rip that crown out of your waiting hands. So this is why I've moved into France. I put in all these routes, and I've noticed another route which should be good for us. I'm trying to find routes with lots of capacity, lots of demand, and I spotted one earlier. Let's pause this for a second. There's so many vehicles now. If I turn the vehicles off, there you go, that's easier to see. And zoom in a bit. Where's Hull? There's Hull. Hull there. Right, if I click on the I, or press I rather, for the city information, Marseille, 2 first-class persons, compared to Plymouth, which is just 23, and Newcastle, which is just a few. Actually, there is a route already between Hull and Newcastle for economy passengers, but Marseille down here, it's gone again. It does that. I'm not sure why. When you're running around the map. Okay, so there you go. 96 persons in first class. That's quite good. I'm not quite sure why people in Hull would want to go to Marseille, or vice versa. In reality, I dare say there are people that do, but I'm just imagining it that they are 2 coastal towns, 2 coastal cities, so they have that bond, they have that commonality. So let's take a route out there. That is a very long route, isn't it? And we want first class passengers. And what do we have in the shop? We have quite a fast train, 235 kilometers, is that? Speed, whatever it is, 235 speeds, 40 people. I could probably do 2 trains on there, couldn't I? And that's only 500,000 each. Okay, let's drop you on there. And let's bring the vehicles back into view. And there's our train. Do people like it? What do you mean no? What do you mean? Oh, they don't mind it, actually. Comfort could be better, but it's full. It is full. Right, let's slow that down slightly. Let's go to Marseille. Click Marseille. So how many people are there left in Hull to transport? Where's Hull? 102? 102? Well, that was a bigger number than I first saw. Oh, people here don't... What don't you like? What are you? What train are you? Oh, you are the Hull... What don't... Oh, they don't like the speed. Why not? No, hang on. I must have been looking at a different vehicle. Oh, you're not going to make any money at all, are you? So let's take you down to 75. No, it'll need to be less than that, I think, with so few people on board. Let's make it 70. Okay, and speed you up a bit. That's the trouble with the map sometimes. It can be so difficult to see the actual vehicle you're after. And unfortunately, although the vehicle list does show you the vehicle, you can sort of pin it here. It's in a big... If you're sort of at the town itself, and there's lots of other vehicles there, it can be difficult to spot it. Where is our train now? Oh, it's there. Oh, I didn't see how much it earned. If I click here... It would be nice if you could drill down from the vehicle list or the route list to actually you can. What am I talking about? Of course you can. Hull to Marseille. It's that one there. I can click on that panel and there it brings it up, and then I can pin it or find it. There it is. Can I follow it? There's no actual... what's that? Locate the next stop. No, you're not going... You know, no, you're not. Oh, hang on, what have I done something? What have I done to it? No, you're still going back to Hull. Good. Now you see I've got these updates, but unfortunately this chapter of the story doesn't allow us to upgrade our vehicles. And you made 120 odd thousand for 20 people. I'm quite happy with that. Why are you waiting? Oh, you wait anyway because you're a cargo train, don't you? I think. Yeah, the cargo demands here isn't great, but it makes money, so that's fine by me. Profit last month 37,000. Net profit in total 135. Yeah, we're good with that. Okay, let's get back at correct speed. One thing I did notice, which you may need to bear in mind, is train depots. Well, depots generally, I think it will apply to. Is I had one of the trains. It was one of these northern trains. I think it was one of the trains coming out of Newcastle. Possibly this one here. I think it might have been actually the Newcastle to Birmingham train. It needed repairing and it actually went to the Calais depot. Now presumably it was at this end of the route, the Birmingham end, and maybe it just worked out that Calais was closer than Newcastle, or maybe Newcastle was full. I've got just 2 slots in there, but it's possible it could have been full. How are we doing on our... We're 62 out of 80,000 for economy. We're 14, nearly 15 out of 20 for first class, and 56 out of 70. We're getting quite close to the end of this scenario. Okay, right. Although we're getting close to our targets, I want to move somewhere else. Now, I did notice that... Was it London? Yes. London has some quite hefty demands out here in... Where's that? That will be Belgium. So I think we can buy a license into that. We've got 4 million in the bank. A license to Belgium is merely 85,000. Yes, we'll buy that license. So we will create a route from London, a rail route. There seems to be no limit so far on the number of trains I can put through the Channel Tunnel, which is good. Oh, there's a flood. Oh, we haven't seen this before. Where's that? It's popped up here. In Nantes. Okay, so that's not going to affect any of my routes. There was one earlier, while I wasn't actually recording, that occurred in Marseille. So that's obviously gone now. Before I put the train line in, obviously, because you've just seen me do that. Right, and the effect of that, as we can see here, it lasts 28 days. That's a month, practically. Adds new demand and significantly increases existing demand for a short time from the affected city, but decreasing incoming passengers. Ah, and that's slightly unusual, because the way town demands normally work in the game, obviously, as we've discussed, is demand is equal between the two cities. But obviously this is going to impact on what you do to Nantes. So I could have a route going out of Nantes, perhaps, but I don't know. We won't worry about that. What I was I doing? Oh, Belgium. Yes, we were going to create a rail route from, no, not from there, from London to Brussels. And we'll put trains on there. Unfortunately, we don't have a train which mixes economy and first class. So I think just one of each. Well, actually, we could probably put two of these economy class ones on there, couldn't we? But okay, well let's try that one. We'll try an economy on there. You can go. And he's off, fully boarded. And the first class passenger. And you're not quite so fully boarded. So what's the difference? The economy passengers are quite happy with that. The first class passengers, this is the right route, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it is, because it's highlighted in green there. Pay attention to the screen, man. Yeah, they're not quite happy. Oh, we'll reduce the price a little bit. See what difference that makes. We are getting very close now to our targets for this chapter, and I'm still way ahead of the competition. I think this is fairly safe now that we've got this under control. Yeah, more first class passengers. Oh, that's looking good. And some cargo as well to Liège. Now there is a train depot in Calais, so if they break down they can stop off there. Seeing as I've got that many more trains actually going through to or near to Calais, I'll increase the capacity of that depot. Might as well increase the maintenance quality as well. There you go. Because I can afford it. Well, yeah, why not? So we want a new rail route from Liège to London. This will be a nice big fast cargo train. Oh, that one will do. Are people happy with that? They are. It's fully loaded. Right. Now, to be honest, I am now just rushing through this to meet the target objectives of the scenario, of this chapter in the story mode. I'm not paying too much attention to any real strategy. Oh, we've got a broken road there. Does that affect any of our routes? Oh, it does. But the problem is, there's no way... Oh, hang on. Is there a way around it? There is! They can go the long way through Hull. Excellent. Do that. Are you the only vehicle? No, there's 3 or 4 routes on there, wasn't there? No, there wasn't. Just the one. Just the one? Newcastle upon... Oh, they're rail routes. They shouldn't be affected then, I hope. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's fine. Again, one slightly frustrating thing here is that these road blockages, these road closures, don't appear in the events list here. I had a feeling in one of the early alpha builds that we looked at, probably last year now, these did come up. There was more alerting for them. It's possible they're popping up at the top here, top of the screen, and I'm simply not seeing them because I'm looking at something else, which I wouldn't be at all surprised about, to be honest. How are we doing? We're doing very well. You're all doing very well. Sorry, just showing my TV age there. Another detour. Oh, and where are you going? Hang on, where are you going? Newcastle to... Oh, yeah. Can you do... Oh my god, that is a long way around. That is a very long way around. How long is that diversion going to be there? 11 days? Oh, let's do it. Going all the way to Edinburgh via Liverpool to get to Hull. Quick check of our routes for profitability. Our road routes. This is in profit order. Paris-Dijon. You're probably in a depot somewhere, aren't you? Which is why that's 0 there. Oh, yeah, you're back on the road now. Oh, are you? No, you are. No, I'm looking at the buses. Ah, that must be you then. Yep, that's it. First class bus. Good. And rail routes. Yeah, one of the little annoyances, one of the little frustrations, so I put it that way, that I have with the game is that when a vehicle is in a depot, it's taken off the route list. Now, if you're doing it manually, that's kind of fair enough, because when the vehicle is in depot and repaired, you personally have the choice of putting it back on the route or not. But when it's all managed, then it's automatically put back on the route it came from. So it strikes me as a little bit unhelpful to have this as 0 or whatever, as less than it actually is. Because you might think to yourself, oh, I've got nothing on that route. Okay, apart from the fact it's been making money for months and years. But yeah, apart from that. Right, we're very close to hitting our objectives. We've already hit first class passengers. We've delivered over 20,000. We're 3,000 short of transport cargo and less than 1,000 for economy passengers. We are about to win this scenario. So the anticipation as we enter the final stage of the competition. Vehicles constantly being repaired, maintained, kept in peak performance level. Trains filling up, loading at stations. Buses and trucks scurrying along our highways and byways and motorways and autobahns. What do they call them in France? Is there I don't actually know. What's the equivalent for an autobahn or a motorway or a highway in France? If you're French, or you happen to know because you've been to France and remembered important and useful information, do let me know in the comments below. It's always good to hear from you. And okay, we've got the number of economy passengers transported. We're less than 2,000 away in terms of cargo shipments. We have in our bank balance over 5.5 million monies, whatever the currency is. Less than 200 units to go. Nearly 100. Less than 100. We've done it! Another victory for Ajax Transportation Inc. Company PLC, whatever I called myself. So there we are, Chapter 7 completed successfully. We didn't go bankrupt, we didn't lose, we wiped the floor with the opposition. Well, that's it for this episode of Transport Inc. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed this update and this exploration of this latest chapter. If you have, be great to hear from you. A little bit of a like would be lovely. Click on the old thumbs up button. Even better though, if you've got any thoughts, hints or tips, suggestions, recommendations, any criticisms, anything you feel like saying about the game or what I'm doing with it, just drop a note into the comments box below. It would be awesome to hear from you. Yeah, and of course, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, you could do that now, and that way you'll know when I upload another one of these or any of my other Let's Play series. But until the next time, from me, Ajaxpost, here in Transport Inc., bye-bye for now.